Good morning.
Could you just confirm me if my screen is visible and my, audio is audible to each one of you?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for this. All right, so quickly just revisit. Let me revisit that what all we did in the first session. We did talk about the overview of HR and understood the concept of HR, people with the workforce. And then we understood the what are the various benefits analytics have, including the HR analytics, and how the history of HR analytics started, where we talked about the Henry Fayol and the Taylor's principle of scientific management with Eldon Mayo Hawthorne study. And I believe and hope that you must have done the respective research on that. And then we did talk about the importance and the challenges, right? So that was the basic element we wanted to give you a brief about. So the today's session will focus on the tools that we use for the HR analytics, and what are the various career which are available and the analytics domain that you can use, right? So when the first two sessions are for me is very important and critical, because actually it gives you the perspective what exactly is there in the HR analytics domain per se. Okay, so we did talk about the function of HR, where we capture the data, which is 80% of it. And I could categorically remember when couple of you did give an example of how we create a dashboard, and that dashboard gets used for the analysis purpose, right? So if you will see, when we work on any kind of projects, so I'm sure you all would be knowing that project management, they keep on doing various projects to enhance the company's growth, or for that matter when we talk about quality programs or quality projects, maybe it could be into the Six Sigma, maybe it could be into the lean, maybe it could be into the functional deployment, and these projects are used for the measurement purpose, where we capture 80% of data and only we analyze it the 20% of it. Whereas when we talk about processes, so there the focus is on the capturing of data, which is 20%. So when we say capturing of data, that means we're saying and emphasizing on collecting the sample from the entire population, and that's how from that data captured we use the 80% of our effort into the analysis. And that's why you will find we build a dashboard, we tend to check the correlation, we tend to check the various regression aspect, we tend to check the scores, so that is how it's very important to know how well are we using the data. Now, here, the most important thing is the capturing of data. And I have already mentioned in the last session that what are the major pitfalls of HR analytics, which is actually existing. And one of the major one was how we, capture the data. So the tools that we have now, these are the tools. If you will see on the screen of mine, I have given you a good amount of tools, right? Although there are more tools, but trust me, uh, these tools, it has a growing demand, and the importance of data analytics is in the market, which have generated various opening worldwide. So it becomes very tough to shortlist the top data analytics tool, and there are various open source also which are quite popular, very friendly to use, and performance oriented, and there is also definitely a paid version. Now again, we absolutely need to know that what is our need. So the, the open version, when I say the open source tool, so which doesn't require much of coding, or it manages to deliver the results better than the paid version, I have seen it. For an example, R programming. right? It's a data mining. The second one is Tableau. So Tableau is a public source. Python, which is again a data visualization. Although for the data visualization, we use PPT, right? But Python gives you a different element altogether. So these various data analytics tool, both paid and unpaid version, it all depends on the popularity, learning, and performance. So these are the three key things you have to see. So the popularity of the tool, the learning, and the final performance which you have to work on. So out of this, R is the leading analytical tool. So in an industry which has been widely used, and it is used for statistics and data modeling. You can see that in this you can actually manipulate your data and the capacity of your data. So all depends on the outcome and the performance. So R actually complies and runs on a various kind of platform. Now it can run on the Unix, it can run on the Mac, it can run on your Windows, and there are what I remember is 11,000 plus packages, and in this, and it allows you to browse and the packages by the categories wise. All right. So you will be happy to see and know that R, which is not only provided tools to automatically install all packages as per the user requirement, it can also be very well assembled with the big data. So let's say here another one after the R is Tableau. um, See, I will be not teaching you here how to use them, right? But yes, the one I have been expert on, I will give you an insight on it. So I have used R, I have used Python, I have used SPSS, I have used Minitab very strongly. And for me personally, SPSS is a powerful tool because I do a lot of statistical analysis. And for the graphical representation, definitely Tableau is there. And if I want to understand the correlation and regression with the pictorial visualization element, then definitely Python can also be used, right? So we'll go and understand one by one. So Tableau is a public, software. So when I say public software, that means it's a free software, and it connects any data source from the data warehouse. So whichever company you're working with, you or every organization have their own data warehouse. So the data warehouse, or else the Microsoft Excel, or sometimes a web-based data, and we create a data visualization, maps, dashboards, and so on. And this is a real-time update presenting on the web. Now they can also be shared through a social media with the clients. Now it allows actually the access to download the file in a must and in a very good data source. So Tableau big data actually has a capability. It makes them important and can actually analyze and visualize data better other than the visualization software in the market. So that is why and where exactly you can learn Tableau is Coursera. So Coursera, it's a very great platform, and it is not only for one particular subject, but they are having a mastery into the various subject because they have an association with the best of the institution. So my suggestion is you can learn Minitab, SAP, Python, Mahout, RapidMiner, MATLAB, Tableau, so they have a small uh, capsule courses, and you can actually enroll there, right? When I talk about Python, now Python is actually I'll use a word, object-oriented scripting language. So it is easy to read, write, maintain, and again it's a free source, right? And it was, I remember, was developed by Rossum, okay, and it actually came in the late 1980s. So I would say in the starting of 1990, you will see that how organization have started using it for the both functional and the structured programming method. It's very easy to learn, let me tell you, and it's a very similar to JavaScript, Ruby, and you will find that It can be again assembled in any platform like SQL server, MongoDB database, or JSON. So these are some technical words which I'm using, but trust me, I mean, you all are doing a HR analytics. That means the face, the front of it. So the back end, there are experts who takes care of it. Your job is to understand how to do the analysis with the data, right? And then we have SAS. It's a programming environment, right? And it's a language for data manipulation. And leaders in analytics, they actually, they said that they developed by the SAS Institute in 1966. And I still remember that they further developed in somewhere in 80s, then further enhanced in 90s, and you will again find it's very easy to manage and very easy to analyze the data. It actually introduced a set of different kind of products in the 2011 onwards, specifically focusing on the customer intelligence, and the numerous SAS module for web, social media, marketing analytics, which has been widely used for the profiling of the customers. And here you will see you can predict by using the SAS, that is the behavior of the customers, how to manage the customers, optimum utilization of through the communication. So let me give you a very simple example. Now if you go, I mean, all of us are in social media, right? And in Facebook, let's say Diwali season is on and I want to buy a good attire for myself, an Indian attire, and I hop into the Fab India site, and then I also hop into the Jaipur site. Suddenly you will find after some time there would be an email which will be reflecting in your email ID. Then there would be an advertisement which will be appearing on your top of the email ID inbox. You will again see a lot of promotional campaign you will start observing in your Insta page, in your Twitter, in your Facebook. Now why does this happen and how does this happen? That is happening because of SAS, right? So there are experts who manage such things, and you will be so surprised that organization actually use such set of information to know what kind of customers are visiting, what exactly they are looking at it, and how they are going to actually project in the future what is in the real demand. That is how you will find that analytics gets used so wonderfully. uh, Spark is another one, which is an inbuilt on the data science, and its concept makes data science actually effortless for them. It is quite a popular for data pipeline and machine learning models development. It includes library. That's the beautiful thing. So it calls it MLib. It provides a progressive set of machine algorithm for repeated data science techniques like classification, regression, collaborative filtering, clustering. So students, those who have done the research, you will find that they would be knowing these terminologies which I recently right now use, like filtering, clustering, regression, right? So Spark actually used for such purpose. In this, another the great important aspect is the Excel. I think Excel is we all have been using, right? It's a basic, popular, widely used analytical tool, and it's been used by almost everyone, every industry. So whether you are an expert in SAS or R or Tableau, you will still need to use Excel, right? So my suggestion is that you should actually know, the basic of Excel and the advance of Excel and how to use it. I have known so many people really don't know that you can actually do correlation and regression in, in Excel. So that is why they say that, it's very important to enhance your credentials, and specifically when when you want to shape up your career into the analytics, you start using a lot of Excel element, right? You know that we use pivot tables, which actually helps in filtering the data as per the requirement of the leader, client, or or the subject matter, and XYZ. So Excel has the advanced business analytics option, which actually helps in modeling capabilities, which have pre-built options like automatic relationship detection, a creation of DAX measure and time grouping. So please, I would suggest is use Excel as effective as possible. Again, if you don't want to work on Excel, no problem. The world is, the experts are sitting who are working on Excel, right? But you should be knowing the objective of what you want to drive from the Excel. So you can actually give an input to your team, the experts who are experts in Excel, and then they will actually detect out all the information for you. Then RapidMiner. RapidMiner is a powerful integrated data science platform, and that performs predictive analysis, right? So in the last session, we did talk about predictive, prescriptive, and descriptive, right? So we start with the descriptive element, which is working with the past data that we have, and then we predict what is going to happen, and then finally we prescribe that with the example of how the doctor do. So even the HR analytics team, seniors, they actually do that. So there are, so I was talking about RapidMiner, uh, this is an advanced analytics, like I would say again, data mining, text analytics, machine learning, visual analytics without any programming, let me tell you. So you don't need any kind of programming in this particular software. Now, as I mentioned about Excel, right? Now Excel can't hold a mammoth of data. If I have to run an analysis for, let's say, for last 5 years, right? Now my system will is going to take a lot of time, because Excel work at its own pace and speed. So RapidMiner can actually incorporate with any data source, including your Access, including your Excel, Microsoft SQL, Teradata, Oracle, Sybase. We have then IBM GB2, Ingress, MySQL, IBM SPSS, DBase. This all can get integrated. So the tool is a very powerful, and it can generate analytics based on the real life data transformation, and you can actually control the formats, data sets for predicting analytics. So that's the element of rapid. Then we also have KNIME, KNIME. So it's Constance Information Miner. That's what they call it. It was somewhere came in 2005, and it was developed by the set of engineers, software engineers. Now again, it's a very leading open source, where reporting, integration of analytical tools, and again it allows you to analyze and model the data through a visual programming, and it also integrates various components for the data mining, machine learning, via its own what we call it, a modular data pipelining concept. Okay. Then we have another one which we call is Quick View. Quick View has many unique features like parental technologies, and it has an in-memory data processing. It is automatically maintained, and it can be compressed to almost 10% of your original size. That's the beauty of this Quick View. So the data relationship is visualization using various kind of colors. You can actually give a specific colors to a related data. I remember quick view was used whenever any critical request used to come in any industry, in a customer service orientation. So critical request used to come, it used to be highlighted in red. That means it's an alarming situation. And the second was in an yellow color, that is an amber color, which means something is going to happen bad, or it won't be as per the processes, so kindly look into it. So it's an alarming one. And the third one is green color, so that means the things are going in shape, so customers are happy. So you can actually use the various colors based on the requirement. We have Splunk, we call it as SPLUNK. Again, it analyzes, and it's a machine generated data. It pulls a text based log data and provide a simple way to search through. So user can actually, I know they can pull in all kind of data, and you will find it, a very great statistical analysis can be done, and it can actually present in a very simple format, right? I'll just see, there is a one chat. Does R and regression are some? No, 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 my dear. Regression is a, so Varung, R is a tool. It's a one word, R. Regression is a statistical analysis concept, right? So we'll understand that. We use small r for regression. So we'll understand in some time, right? So good question. All right. So, okay. So if you will see here, I'm just given a top companies who can actually using the most popular analytical tools and open source and commercial, tools. I have given it for you. And you will find that are being used by Accenture, Cognizant, Google, FB, Citibank, Genpact, Python by Alibaba, Google, again, TCS, Genpact. Spark is by Pinterest, Uber, Ola, FB again. Netflix has, smartly used Spark. We have Pig and Hive, so these are another ways. So Storm is another one. Commercial one, as I was mentioning, so some are, up till a particular limit, it is free, but after that, it's a paid version. Because if you want to know and do the analysis on a bigger perspective, so then SAS, and it's been widely used by very strongly by the financial sector, banking sector. Then you will find that the social media platforms, consultancy firm, nowadays, in fact, hospitals have started using it, right? Tableau is again how you represent. So I know this because how Toyota have been using it very strongly, because they are very much into the quality initiatives, and for any kind of Gemba walk whenever it happens. So Gemba is nothing but when a senior management takes a walk into the various departments or different showrooms or different workstation. So any new kind of initiative has been taken, and they want to see what has been done in past and how the growth has taken place. So they use this Tableau, and it comes up in a very great pictorial manner, and they represent in a pre and post, so the concept became very popular from there. So mostly you'll find manufacturing firm, they use it. Excel, I mean, it's as I have written, almost every company known to mankind. So Excel is like engraved in our blood. Quick Ways, again, Capgemini, Cisco, Deloitte, Citi. Splunk, again, the same, Cognizant, Groupon, First Data, and so on, right? So these are the some of the examples I thought to quote with all of you, and it's really important. So again, for the decision making, a lot of people have, there are more tools which are there. So I have again segregated in the two element. One is operational tool, and the second one is a strategic tool. Operational tool, when we say, we are talking about the day-to-day operations, it could be related to the training, payrolls, reward recognition, R&R element that we're talking about, talent management, acquisition, workforce planning, career enhancement, career planning, development approach. So there you will find the operational tools which are there, like Insight, Resume Mirror, NCM, HCM applicant, HCM performance management, work concept, PF tracker, leave management, My Pay, My Academy, Visa. So these are different kind of operational tools, and people use it for the decision making. And for the workforce planning, which is being critical for the strategical tool, because here we are deciding and we are working on the strategy for the future goal, for the future vision, the vision that I have and the mission that I'm going to put it across, and what are the objectives I'm going to put across. So for each objectives we need to have a strategy in place, right? So that's a strategical tool that we use, and you will find that we use for the retention purpose, we use it for the talent management purpose, we use it for the forecasting that how many people are required in the future. And if you will see that, I still remember a couple of months back, when the COVID happened, and how Amazon actually hired 1 lakh plus manpower because they had a need of it. They actually forecasted it, right? And it happened through a strategic tool. So that is how you figure it out. Okay. All right. So you know so in this of data analytics block semantic approach, I know that there is a certain set of data source that we're looking at, right? And these data source comes from like social media, data from sensors, scientific data, call details, multimedia, web data. So from various data source, we extract that and we use it for the analysis purpose. So the process of analyzing the data sets is to derive a useful conclusion, or for that matter, an information. That is what exactly the data analytics works, right? So data analytics actually involves various operations on the data sets, and for that matter, various kind of tables which are available for the database. And these operations actually includes data extraction, as I mentioned right now, and it's there on the screen. And from there we end up doing with the extraction, data profiling, cleansing, deduping. That is what is required into the analysis purpose. So data analytics tools and solution are used in various industries. And as I mentioned, you talk any, whether you talk banking, aerospace, retail, social media companies, telecom, healthcare, everyone is been using it very strongly and very categorically, correct? So let me understand from you all now, how, where all do you get your data from? So these are the certain ones I have already mentioned. Where all I can get the data from? Can you use your chat box and tell me, please, the sources of data? Anyone? You can use your chat box, and if you want to unmute yourself, please do that. Yeah, maybe Varang or Sumit, Subrat, Rajul. What is the source of data? How can we get the data? Where can we get the data from?
Hi, this is Varang.
Yes, Varang.
Initially, we get the data from the initiating source. Uh, let's say in training, we get data from a first is from HR, wherein these are the number of participants the training has to happen. And then gradually, as the training progress, then the data gets developed in terms of attendance, in terms of assessment, assignments, and the class participation, as in when the information that you required, and so on and so forth. It goes to operation as to how many people certified, how many people went into retraining, and how many people did perform, and so on and so forth. So by each point, you are getting some kind of information.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. All right. So Antara says feedback from employees. Definitely, if you're working on the feedback, and trust me, it's one of the very powerful mechanism. But what I have seen that feedback has not been taken seriously, by so many people. So if we start analyzing the feedbacks, we'll see that a lot of insight can come up, and you can get a different perspective. Um Nisha mentioning questionnaires and interviews, definitely. Ajay, business transaction and sales. Yeah, I mean, I think the sale will actually tell you which kind of customers are buying what kind of products, and you can actually generate. Manisha says attendance data, leave records, biometric system, employees record historical data through HRMS, correct? Interviewing by Neha, definitely. Super. So you will be, surprised that okay, so Arpita mentioned using softwares like Oracle's SAP, financial data, manpower related human resource management system, sales softwares, sales figures. Absolutely wonderful. Pre and post training, Neelam rightly said. Correct. Now, the beautiful thing is that we are flooded with data, right? But then how to use that data becomes very, very important. And so many times that we find it very difficult that we get messed up in that data, that we wanted to do this and we are not even end up doing that because there's so much of confusion start happening. So the objective has to be very, very clear whenever you're working with the data element, correct? So yes, I know that the data is actually getting captured from every possible aspect, and you all know that our data is available like anything, correct? So every yeah, if you talk about Google, I think Google have the best of our information. And now Alexa is also talking about our information. So the Alexa will actually tell you, okay, what Anubha likes, what Anubha doesn't like, because she's using Alexa, right? So it's really important that the data should be used very wisely, and it should not be made available because it can be again used in a wrong manner also. Okay, so let's try and understand. Okay, so data analytics, the advantages and disadvantages, let's try and understand. Uh, the major data analytics advantages, right? It detects and correct the errors from the data, which sets with the help of the data cleansing. Now this helps in improving quality of data, and benefits both customer and institutions such as insurance companies, finance companies, and so on, right? Then we have another one which it removes duplicate information from data sets, and hence it actually saves a large amount of memory space, and this decreases the cost to the company. And let me tell you, the managing data is a cost. It looks that there is no cost, but trust me, it's a good cost, and we so many times ignore those things. It helps in displaying the relevant advertisement on the online shopping website based on the historical patterns and purchase behavior. So historical analogy has been widely used by the great people and the researchers, and it actually helps in increasing the revenue and productivity of the company. So you tend to get to know what is the projection in the future. So if you will see nowadays, the wellness has become very, very buzzword from the last almost a touching decade now. So everyone is talking about wellness, and now you will see, I was reading an article about HR. The future HR is actually now going to focus having a wellness in their engagement para free, right? So that is how the analytics gets used. It actually reduces various kind of risk in the insurance sector, into the bank, into any kind of financial sector, I would say. And it's a probable to identify the fraudster or the any uh, problem the financial element is coming up. So the it helps institute in deciding whether to issue the for an example credit card to the respective applicant or not, right? So this is where you will find that so many times, even the how visa company sometimes gives you a visa or they reject the visa for you. Why do they do that? Because they have their own mechanism, and they do the research based on the historical data which has been captured and used by them. uh, Again, when we talk about the security agencies for surveillance purpose, for monitoring purpose, and for the information which is getting collected in the huge amount of the number, so this prevents for any kind of wrongdoing or any kind of calamities which can, be expected out of, and we can use it. Then we have the disadvantage, which is, yes, it may breach privacy of the customers, as their information such as purchase, online transactions, subscriptions are visible to the parent companies. You get to know the exchange these useful information database for their other mutual benefits. So you will find that how banking data gets used by the insurance company, and then the insurance products are being pitched to them. How telecom data gets used, so we all have mobile phones, and that number, gets used by the credit card company to pitch, and or else providing a personal loan. So everything is interlinked, right? And everyone is actually aligned together. The another one is the cost of data analytics tool, which is a very based on a application and a features we are using. Moreover, sometimes that data analytic tools are complex to use, and that's why we require a training. And this training actually is a big cost, because to give you an example, SPSS, which I did not talk in the starting, which was there in the tool, I'm going to touch upon in some time. And you will find that SPSS learning, it has a cost, right? And it's a good a 10-day program if you attend, and that's how you pick it up. And you end up paying, one is for the software and one is for the training, right? So software itself is not a it comes in lakhs, the software, and with the multiple users. Then we have the information which has been obtained using the data analysis, which can be misused against the group of people, or against certain countries or community or caste, right? So we really have to take care of that. And it is very difficult to select the right data analytics tool. Sometimes this is a big challenge what I have seen. And you invest in one tool and then you realize, oh, this is not that one I wanted to for, and then you end up spending in another one. So you should be very very clear that what is it you're looking for. So this happens because due to the fact which is required knowledge of the tools and the accuracy in analyzing the relevant set of data as per the application, it increased time, it increased the cost of the organization. So you really have to be very very clear. So that is how the data analytics tool get used, right? So as we talked about the some tools that I'll just emphasize very quickly again, right? And go a little bit fast. So as I mentioned, so R is a kind of a aspect. I've given you a link here. You can probably just take the screenshot, and you can download R, and you can learn about the R, and you can see the visual depiction of the normalization of curve with the quantile and the scatter diagram, and it helps you to know the residual statistics of the mean, median, mode, standard deviation, and so on, correct? Again, the importance of data visualization is critical in the data science, and this is where you need to become an expert, right? So your tool will give you this stats and this visual prediction depiction, but then how to read this, you should be knowing that, right? Then we have how the arts today, as I was mentioning about the colors that we can use, it really helps where we can see how many layoffs are there, how many resignations are there, how many retirements are in plan. So the HR, as a factor, you can get into the year on year status, and you will see the things working in very well for all of you. Okay. So the library, I have already mentioned that RS got a own library, and I think one of the great example of R package is the ggplot, which is actually helps in visualization of the graph. That's why we call it graph plot, ggplot. It's an excellent tool, trust me, and it's a very good use for the analyzation and the visualization. The second one, Python. So this is how the Python looks like. You can go to the python.org, and you can actually, download it. As I said, it's an open source, high level of programming language that's often used by the technical analysts and data scientists. It now boasts, and actually, they say it's been developed by the great developer of Java, and has more than 2 lakhs available packages with them. So you can use it as per your requirement. Then we have, we talk about the in HR analytics, we have Excel. Please keep using it as per your requirement. And the Python, as I was mentioning, it's important to see the difference between both of them, Python and R. It's the feature, if we see on the feature wise, model building, it's similar in both Python and R. Predictability is very strong in R compared to Python. The production is better in Python. The community support is better in R. Libraries are both similar in Python and R. Visualization is strong in R. Learning curve is better in Python because it's easy to learn. So you should know which one is comfortable for you to use it, right? And again, Excel, as I have mentioned all about, I'll not go very much deep dive into it, right? Let's understand on the BI, Power BI, right? Microsoft Power BI business intelligence tool. It's a very top platform with the support of dozens of the data source, trust me. And you can create, share reports, visualization, and the dashboard. Uh, you can actually combine a group of dashboards in the power of BI. That's the beautiful thing in this. And it allows the users to build what we call it as a automated machine learning models, and it can actually integrate with the Azure machine learning. So these are again a technical term. I will not go deep dive into it. The reason being is the experts are there who will work on it. It's just that you should be having a basic of awareness onto it, right? Um, Tableau, as I have already mentioned, again, a Stanford University software, visualization world by storm. It is widely, you can see how beautifully the data gets highlighted, depicted by using the various colors. We can actually see the top performers if you want to see the performance management of the people, of the zone, of the region, of the cluster, of the respective branches, of the respective sets, or with the people working in that particular branches. So or in fact you want to do the analysis on the state wise, you want to do the analysis by zone wise. I'm telling you this, it gives a very beautiful depiction. I still remember when banks used to sell gold. There was a time, banks were selling the gold, and we used to get the dashboard on the screen that which particular state is selling the highest amount of gold. And then we got to know over a period of time. We did a study for a year, and we realized that during Akshaya Tritiya, the south also sells like amazingly. And for that matter, we wanted to know that which state in north sells the most gold. And we were actually surprised to see that the North Indians are also very fond of gold, and in that the Punjab community is very strong into buying the gold. So that's another element we got to know. So that is how the projection gets up, right? Okay. Wiser, another tool. I mean, I've given you one example of the person, that how much the person cost, how much would be the risk, exit risk will have, and you will see that you can actually compare one employee with another employee. So it's another way to use it for the retention purpose. So it actually helps the HR professionals to manage, to become more strategic and important to the business release. So, you all as an HR professionals, or the, even for that matter, marketing professionals, I would say that you need to start observing, and you need to start sitting with your leadership team, understand their projections, the strategy which they are looking at, and based on their thought process, work with the data, understand what is going on in the organization. And if you can give a projection, or things happening in your organization, an output which actually can make you and your leader think and can help to align the future goal, you will see it is going to benefit. To give you an example, I can't quote the name of this hotel. So I remember are they were in Europe, in one of the countries, and in that country in Europe, uh, what they observed, that attrition rate was very high. Attrition rate was somewhere touching to 52%. And they were very jumbled up. They were used to think that, I mean, we end up training these people, and we are one of the finest five-star property in the Europe, in this particular country. But how come people are leaving us? And you will be so surprised that they actually used tool. They understood the customer requirement, and what they identified, that they're looking for a people from the Asian side to serve them, and not the Europeans, because they had a flavor of Asian element. But as they were in Europe, people still were wanted to explore that. And then the moment they understood that, the attrition rate from 52% came down to 11%. And anyhow, every organization, I mean, the organization says that 60% attrition rate is a very good attrition rate, and one should have it also. That's also nothing wrong in that, right? I remember in one of the consultancy project which I was doing, the challenge of this organization was people were not leaving the job. There was zero attrition rate, and they were hired the consultant to know how we can actually have the attrition rate up till 5%. So imagine the objective and organizations looks at. It was an amazing project that we did, and finally, yes, we succeeded. But then the challenges are different kinds, right? Okay, so then Quick, again, it's a similar to Wiser. It aggregates the data, right? Very smartly used in the form of business intelligence, and you can be embed in SQL, and drag and drop module is there. So just use it if you have a big amount of data. Okay, SPSS. Now this is what I was going ahead, and I think one of the participants did ask, is our capital R and regression is same or not? Okay, so SPSS is one of the most commonly used HR analytical tool, right? And why we use it? Because SPSS, the full form says statistical package for social science. And if you will see, HR is into the social science. Okay, so trust me, you should be thanking that it's one of the user friendly interface, and you're able to analyze the data without having extensive statistical knowledge also. That is the beauty of this particular software, the package. Because SPS is often used in the social science, a lot of HR professionals, you'll find, they know how to use it, especially the ones interested in the data analytics. So it works on the descriptive, definitely. And this is also the reason you'll find that why we put SPSS on the list and not in the biggest competitors of SAS. SAS has more user outside of the social science field. Correct. Whereas when I talk about the social science, then SPSS is really good. There is a similarity you will find like in Excel, right? And it's a very easy stepping stone for companies with the less mature analytical capabilities. It makes the things really easy. For an example, if you want to do exploratory correlation analysis or a quick regression, or for that matter, if you want to go for machine learning, right? You want to do the descriptive statistics, you will find this is possible. So descriptive statistics, what does it do? It actually summarizes the frequency or measures of central tendency, correct? So you will find it has been interestingly used. It's a representation of the data, and it is really impactful by for using the frequency of data, for measuring the central tendency, for measuring the dispersion and the correlation. So let's try and understand here of the descriptive, correct? uh, we know that, okay, let me take this one here right now. So I'm just going to share a whiteboard for all of you. And first, let me ask all of you, what is mean? Anyone? Yes, who will tell me what is mean?
Average.
Average
In
of.
short,
Anji?
in short, it
Average,
is the
bahut
average.
badhiya, very good, very good. Average, it's a mean, correct? Okay. What is median?
It is the middle part of the data which we have got.
Middle part of the data. Very good. Middle part of the data. And then what is mode?
The numbers which are most often repeated in the data sequence.
Very good. Very good. So occurrence of the data. Okay. So you all can see 3 images on the screen.
Yes.
So this one is A. Okay. This one is C. And this one is E. Easy to write. That's why I'm using it. Okay. Okay. So who will tell me, as you have known mean, median, mode, these are all normalization. In this, one of them is a normalization curve, one is a skewed curve which is towards the left and which is towards the right. I will not go and make you understand the deep dive into it, right? But I want to understand from you. Your tool will give you this data, the graph. Who will tell me in graph A where does the mode is lying, where exactly is median lying, and where exactly mean lying? Can anyone tell me? Hanji. You all are leaders, my dear. So the leaders will get this kind of depiction, projection, the visual graphical. Tableau is also going to give this. R is going to give this. Python is going to give this. SPSS will give you this. Quiglio will give this. Spunk will give you this. Who will read this graph for me? Anyone wants to read A, C, E, please read it and tell me, where do you find median is lying, where is mode lying, and where is mean lying, mean, median, mode?
Anuba, can I try? I mean, I'm not sure, but you know, it has been very.
Yes, please try.
Yeah.
See, nothing will happen.
Of course. So, if I talk about the normal distribution curve, which is C, depicted by C, so if we draw a center line, right, exactly in the center, that
Yes.
would be the, the mean, right? Yeah. And the data which will be scattered in and around, the mean would be the frequently come up, that is the mode, right? So the data, that is the curve line, the two edges of the curve line, that will show the spread, that is the maximum spread is going to be the the mode. Median is, I guess, if I'm
So if
correct.
I have to ask you,
Uh-huh.
no problem. So I'll now understand from you. If the
Okay.
plotting is 0 to 5,
Mhm.
this is the normalization of curve. Okay.
Correct.
So guys, just presume that this is normalization of curve. This, imagine this is a pure bell, right?
Well,
And so this is, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll just put it for everyone so that it's simpler to know, right? So okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Correct? Now, if I have to ask you, out of this, where is now mean, median, mode line? Now give me the number.
yeah, so this mean is 5 in case if we are taking them as,
Very good, very good. Let's take one by one. So the mean is 5 because it's
center.
0 to 5 is there. So
Yeah,
5 is the mean. Yeah,
mean.
correct. बिल्कुल बहुत बढ़िया. Very good, very good. I'm impressed. So mean सबके लिए common हो गया. Mean सबके लिए तो common हो गया ना? Because ये तो 0 to 5 ही है ना? We always
Yes,
calculate
yes.
from here. Very good. Now, what is mode here now? In all three of them, what will be the mode?
Mode is the
Okay, I can see
center
someone
data.
writing in the chat box.
Center data, right? Which
No,
is
the
the
center
exact.
data, my dear, is mean. Center data is mean. 0 to 10, the center point is mean. That is the data point.
Mode
Now
may
for
be
all
the
of you.
highest point. The highest point of the
Highest
curve.
point. Beautiful, beautiful, my dear. Who I didn't see who shared this, but very good. ये जो peak point है ना, this is your mode. Okay. So if you will put it here, if I'll draw the straight line, my mode is here somewhere around 3.5 or 4. The mode in the normalization curve will be the same. It will be 5. And here the mode is, so 5, 6,
8.
7, 8, somewhere 8 or 9, whatever. I like, so let's take that. Is this clear with everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. Now median. Median always fall between mean and mode.
Correct. So the spread.
Right. Median falls between your mode and mean, which will be somewhere here, center point. Okay. And here it is a normalization of curve. It will be constant, same 5. So whenever my data is normalized, I will know that all the data point are at 555. Now, let's say if I want to check, so these are the two graph A and E I have got. A is for the school. This one is the school A, where the maths passing percentage is there. Okay, correct. And this is school B. This one is school B. Now, who will try to read this for me? If you can see this. So can I say that the average score of the student is 50% in the maths exam? So they are getting 50 out of 100. The data says that. And the maximum number of students are scoring 40 marks.
Right.
And half of the students are getting 45. midpoint. Half of the population is getting how much? 45 score. I am reading the graph. Now, who would like to read the graph, school B for me? Please read it. Kindly unmute and try. Yes, Ajay, B is better indeed. Very nice. B is better, right? So, Ajay, you rightly said. Please read it for me. Read the graph for me. Who will read it?
So in school B, 80% of the students are scoring somewhere around 70% marks, right? Because this is right skewed. I mean, they are on the highest, right? And the average
is 50 only. Average 50
yeah, but then there are 80% of the students. Those
so
who
in
are
this
scoring
major,
somewhere around 70. Yeah.
70, 80, correct. But the hump is at 80. If let's say if the hump is 80, so
Okay.
the students are the maximum score students are scoring is 80, but the most of the students, that is 50% of the students are scoring more than 75. Can you see that? That's the median, 75.
75.
Correct? So that is how. Yeah. Yes. So comparing between school A and B, I will see the school B is better. I can go and make my kid study in school B because I want to she to pursue in mathematics approach, right? So this is how we analyze. If I have to hire a teacher, the best teacher, so I have to see that I need school A to be more emphasizing on maths because the students are scoring only very less marks, which is 40 in the maths. So more emphasis has to be given here. Let's say my strategical goal is to see I want the school to be highest contributor in maths marks. So then again, I will see by this graph, I can see that the majority the students are scoring 75, which can, by a little focus, we can see the students can score more of hundreds. So accordingly, we plan and make the strategy. Is this clear with everyone now?
Yeah. This is really
fantastic,
helpful.
right? So now please let me tell all of you is, I mean, we are not, I understand this thing. You all are at this level, right? There are data scientists who will do the, data, who will do the working with the data. The moment they take out the graph for you, the pictorial element is there for you. You should be knowing what to read out of it. You should be knowing what is it that you want to know. The objectives. So what is your boss wanting, your leader's projection, what are the strategies they are placing in? So everything will fall in place. So this is just one of the minuscule element what I shared right now with you. Okay, so normalize it. And we all see performance management, we talk about normalization, isn't it? We have 1 to 5 rating. Out of that, we make bell curve. In that bell curve, the normalization of the bell curve happens with the right skewed. We all know that. Right skewed is, it's on this one, the A graph, right? Because we can give only 10% of the people the 1 rating, 25% the 2 rating, 45% the 3 rating. So you'll find the maximum population is here. And then 4 and 5 is here, right? The bell curve will like this. And for the organization, this is the normalization will happen. For them, that's the normalization. That's how it will look like. So you should be knowing the moment, what do you think? Organization senior leader will see okay, who got what rating? No, they will see, okay, please show me the zone, north zone bell curve. How does it look like? Please show me the, south zone bell curve. And that's how the all India, pan India bell curve is made. If we see the tweakingness and if we see there is a variation, we immediately reach out to other people. We'll say, okay, please, drop the rating. Have you ever experienced that you gave the rating to your people, let's say 2 rating, right? So 1 being the best, 5 being the lowest, right? So you gave the 2 rating, but the moment it was published, the person got 3 rating. Have you ever encountered such kind of things?
Yes.
Right? How does that happen? Normalization, my dear. right? So it's an
Correct.
objective, the organization strategic approach that they're looking at, and that is how the statistics work. So the data scientist will take care of the analysis aspect. They will give you the pictorial depiction, and you should be knowing and reading it out. I mean, tomorrow your company has not grown the way you were expecting, right? Look at the COVID time. Are we expecting the same kind of promotions, bonuses, or increments in 2021 April? I don't
Not
know.
really.
No.
Not really. Let's
Yeah.
be very practical, because we have not produced what we are was supposed to be done. I mean, here right now, if somebody will ask me, I would say the person is having and retaining a job that should be much, much more beneficial, right? Rather than not having a job. People are not having a job. So we have to immediately change our communication pattern. That is how the HR has to come out. Okay. All right. Okay. Can I move ahead now, my dears?
Yes, yes, yes.
Superb. 1 minute, I'll just share my. Okay. Yes. So my suggestion would be, please ensure, I mean, look at the measurement of central tendency, right? It's all about, arithmetic mean, geometric mean, and harmonic mean. I will not go into the formulas, guys, but harmonic mean is a mean which will tell you the real average of it, the real closest average. 11, right? So you should be knowing that. Okay, yeah. Okay, so then the same way we talk about standard deviation, we talk about quartile, mean. I mean, my suggestion is, please, you should know what does it mean, how to work on that, and how the working with the continuous data, ordinal data. So these are certain words, certain important aspect you should be actually working on, right? And you should be getting a deep dive into it. uh, Inferential analytics, you should be knowing when to use random, when should be using sampling, stratified, and cluster, and how to apply these, by using the kind of confidence interval of standard error of 95% or 99%, or for that matter 68%, right? So you should be inferring from the about the population. Please keep doing hypothesis testing based on your statistical distribution, and you should be using various other tools like regression, factor analysis, cluster analysis, so get a deep dive into it, and it will give you a lot of insight and understanding that how to use it and when to use it. Just to give an example of service sector, correct? Now I want to know that what exactly the customers are looking at in the customer service. Prompt service, or are they looking at immediate query resolution, or a warm welcome? So we really don't know that, right? So what do we do then? We create a factors. So we write a various statement, we form a questionnaire, understand that questionnaire, and then we get the factorization done, and then we identify that factor is leading to what, and what exactly the customer is requiring, correct? And that's how you work on that. I'll not go very deep dive into it of SPSS, calculation of null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis, but a very simple level to make you all understand here. It's a significance level, which we also call it as an alpha. It's a extreme data which we must be knowing when to reject our hypothesis, that is the null hypothesis. So to reject the null hypothesis, we say the data must meet the significance level of your alpha, that is 0.05. Okay. So if the p value, which is a sigma value, is less than equal to alpha value, then we reject hypothesis. If the p value, that is a probability value, is greater than alpha, then we fail to reject the null hypothesis. So these are the certain things we've been using it, and we use it into the analytics parts. We tend to see the correlation of positive correlation when my dependent and independent are both are related to each other. So dependent variables are variables which are on x-axis, independent variable which is on y-axis, right? Can anyone tell me the difference between independent and dependent variable, please? Anyone?
So when we are talking about customer behavior, suppose we are talking about that on Amazon, what kind of customers are buying, which category of product. Let's say one product such as home decor. So
Hmm.
we found that, dependent data is that salary bracket or the pay scale kind of a thing, or
Hmm.
age could be very much dependent that, okay, these set of people are more likely to buy more aesthetic sense kind of a decor product, right? So that is a directly correlation between the buying behavior and the customer data,
Okay.
whereas the uh, that is dependent, right? Independent data is you know uh, uh, hmm, maybe the
So
buying
like
behavior.
you went into the analysis part. Okay, let me put it this way. When the age increases, the height also increases. So age and height. Okay. So age is dependent or independent?
Independent.
Correct. Okay. And your height is dependent on your
Dependent on the
age.
age.
Correct. So they both are. So that's why you'll find the positive relation. The can you see on the first the positive relation of it? All right. The same way we talk about the negative relationship. So when the the sale of when the winter approaches, the sale of AC goes down. The negative relation. Correct. And then we also see the no relation aspect. So you need to know the relationship approach also, and the data will tell you that. Okay. This is how the analysis we do it. Regression is again, it's a model that we minimize with the total variation of the data, where we are working on the we want to check the linear relationship between the dependent and the with the other independent variable, and we make it a simple regression and multiple regression. So how much which independent variable, yeah, and the dependency on the dependent variable will rely on, so we'll check on that, and accordingly we project it, right? Okay, so that was SPSS, guys. So let's try and understand. It's like 11:15 by my watch. So let's try and understand the HR analytics careers, right? Okay, so I'll just quickly check the chat box because I can see some has written. Okay, yeah, Ajay is mentioning is depending on the other variable and changes as per the change in the variable. Correct. And independent is not affected by the other variable changes. Very nice. Rightly said by Ajay. Great. Thank you so much. So let's move ahead. All right. So HR analytics career, so what we know that HR analyst task and competency which are required, and in this particular section, let's try and understand. I have tried to list down the main task and the competencies for the HR data analyst. Okay, please understand it's a very broad role depending on the organization, and it will be asked to focus on a different task as in required. So quite a few organizations are looking for HR analyst with a predominant soft skills approach. Let me be very, very candid here. So soft skill will go in hand. So this makes the analyst functions profile very similar to the business partner. And it is like looking like a data analyst role, which is like a very high proficient role, like a strategic partner, business partners, financial partners, and that is how you are categorized at. Now this is also means that you are seen as an analyst who is doing a data analysis for 100% of their job. So it's involved in the other operational tasks as well. So what are the other competencies that they're looking at? We'll try and understand. I know that how to become an HR analyst. Definitely, you need to know the knowledge of tools. Difference between HR analyst and business analyst. Definitely, we have understood that. HR analyst salary, again, it has now taken a different trajectory altogether. It is a very handsomely paid profession. The career path is beautiful, and you will find the job description. My suggestion would be kindly look into the michaelpage.com or glassdoor.com and understand the various job description. But yes, we have discussed, and we will be discussing in deep dive furthermore into it and understand the template in some time. So let's see the analyst task and competencies. Now, these are the 7 tasks and competencies which actually the data analyst profile looks at. Okay, first is business acumen. Now, when I say business acumen, purely it's becoming an increasingly important for HR role. It's the same whole truth for the HR analyst, and trust me, you need to analyze your data. You need to know what project you will work on, how the data analysis will impact the business. The business acumen is, it has become an essential skill, specifically when you are applying for the job of HR analyst. Second is your communication and consultation. This is something I have personally observed. So I'm not going in a U-shaped manner like business, data analysis, relationship, and so on. I'm picking it up as per the real current industry requirement. Okay, so the second one I have observed is communication and consultation. Now, this is one of the second importance skill which I've seen. I totally understand that you are spending most of your time in analyzing the data, but when you're not able to communicate with your business or to the stakeholders, and if you're not able to manage their expectation, and if you're not able to communicate the result in an analytics manner, your the trajectory of growth can have an impact. Okay, then we have relationship management. Guys, relationship is something which is like a key expectation by everybody. Okay, it's a requirement, a basic requirement is looking at. So that's why I've given it the third important element. So the way your relationship is with your seniors, with your peers, with the subordinates, it has a potential and progress approach. Then your HR expertise, which is your hardcore skills, right? So whether you are more into the business partner side of the analyst or crunching the numbers every single day, HR expertise is an essential skill, and you should be knowing everything about HR. You should be knowing what are the best practices running in an HR, what is the science behind an HR, what are the key processes in HR, so it should be in your tips. Then we have data analysis. Data analysis, yes, it's involved in the basics of data driven, in the organization. You should be knowing how the data gets involved, how you will work on the aggregation of data, how will you maintain the HR data quality, and how will you finally analyze the data. So depending on the maturity of the organization, these reports can be on an ad hoc basis too. But ad hoc reporting means that the information has to be manually retrieved from the system, and that means it will going to take a hell lot of time. So you should be knowing how well to do it. Then we have HR systems and implementation. So when I talk about systems, I mean, a very simple example I can quote here is HRIS system, right? Human Resource Information System. Now, these transaction system actually contains most of the data that our HR analyst works with. So you should be working on that aspect. Then we have global and cultural awareness. Now, one thing I would like to share here is if your organization, or if you're serving an organization which is a international organization or which is a global organization, and if you have an acumen for understanding the globalization approach, right, and if you can have a cultural awareness of a particular country, and you want to implement and transform, which means when I want to bring out a change in an organization, I can tell you, you can go places, because the global and the cultural awareness will give you different aspect. I can see some of the chat box. I'll just take a second. Our HR analyst also involved in a routine HR functions like recruitment and training. So as I mentioned, Deepak, it's a very big role, right? So HR has a lot of functions. I mean, if I'm talking about recruitment, right? So the basic of recruitment is that you are getting a job, advertisement, collecting a job, scrutinizing it. But if you are a starter, you are a inceptor into it. So you'll start with that, but slowly and gradually you go high. the recruitment high level is actually headhunting, right? That is a man, and then you do manpower planning. That's a bigger role, and you need to strategize accordingly. So that comes with the time. When I say about trainings, now when we are talking, first you start with the functional trainings, then you move towards the behavioral side, then you're talking about the development of the people. Now everything comes step by step. You will not go to the straight of a development level. I mean, development level पे जाने के लिए आपको बेसिक ऑफ ट्रेनिंग्स का होना बहुत जरूरी है, राइट? सो right now you're using pedagogy, but by the time you are handling the development, you're using andragogy principle, right? Adult learning, and you should be knowing how to use that adult learning. That is the trajectory you have to transform. So you enhance your capability caliber, get some set of certification, and that's how you move on. And then when I'm talking about let's say bigger role onto the leadership side, so in that leadership side, what you do is you will figure it out and work on the coaching, and then accordingly you plan it up. So that is how it goes step by step, right? Senior roles don't, definitely you are onto the strategic element. Okay, thanks. Uh, okay, yes, I was talking about the now the global and the cultural awareness, right? Now that's what the aspect. Now how to become an HR analyst, definitely I know this is was the Deepak, your question, definitely, but you need to have a human resource studies background into industrial and organization psychology. Your background into the economics, stats, analytics is always considered a better way, because see, I mean, if you are into analysis, see, I'm a doctorate, right? And when I did my research, I've written a lot of research paper. I've done a lot of primary and secondary research, and we need to know such basic things, how to use it, right? So those things becomes very important when you are dealing with the quantitative skills, and we want that kind of practice. Slowly and gradually work on your experience, and then you have a get a flavor in your tools. Take an expertise in any one of them. My suggestion is that, see, I can work on Minitab, I can work on SPSS, I can work on Tableau, and I can work on Excel. So but if I'm looking for really a journey into the analysis part, SPSS is very close to my heart. So it's very easy for me. Even if, let's say, my people are not there, I can actually purge the data, and then actually go into the descriptive statistic and actually do the analysis, and I can figure it out. So that things needs a proficiency over a period of time, right? Or else you can get the job done from your team if you already have it. So what I'm trying to say is, when my team is not there, so you have to do the job, so you should be knowing it end of the day. And difference between HR analyst and HR business partner, as I had mentioned, this is what I wanted to cover. Business partner involves more of a communication with your line managers, and it helps the HR related problem. So business partners relies more on the 90% on your soft skills, my dear. As I said, I am least interested, or the leaders are least interested that how strong you are in Tableau. How will it make a difference? But if you have a great communication skills, great relationship management, great cultural awareness, and you can reach out your thoughts to the people and make them understand, trust me, if you can get that kind of buy-in, people will listen to you, right? So the business partners is increasingly trained in analytics, let me tell you that. So if you become a business partner, you go at a different level altogether. So you're a HR partners, so that is how you have to take up the trajectory altogether. And yes, the job description, what you will find in the I've taken this from, I think, Michael Page, one of this thing, and tweaked it a little bit, guys. So it's asked for Excel experience, how they're looking for the knowledge into the HRIS, no advanced analyst experience, like SPSS, Data, Python, R, but they still want to know it. So it all depends on what they're actually considering and what they want, and they will put it across that it actually get the catch of the eye, right? So this is, we talked about the history of BI and analytics in the first session. So if you will see, in the today's time, as diversity skills, the great amount of leadership shortage, let me tell you, and I would say women leadership, so you will find that worldwide only 14% of the female leadership positions are there, and they're only at that particular position. I think the spectrum is so wide, and if I think the wonderful ladies were in today's session, I mean, you actually have a great trajectory, and if you can take up your profession into the analytics and go to that level, trust me, you can be at a different league altogether, and you will be known in an industry in that manner, right? And how the stages of analytics takes place, it takes place with the complexity versus business value, correct? So you immediately report whenever there is something happen. So you talk about, oh my god, what happened, so you report, okay, so we are facing this, or there's a crash down, and so on. If the complexity is medium and business value is also medium, so you're into the analysis mode, or you will try and understand why it happened, what could be the reason, what is happening now, what has to be done now, right? And predictive, where the HR business partner, the predictive analytics, the role will come in. So what can happen, you need to figure it out based on the analysis and study. How industries have started analyzing that India, being the median age is 26.3 years, right? So our median age is 26. That means the more of the centennials and millennials is in our country. Okay, where you talk about the China, it's a old age population. So accordingly, you need to change, and you need to figure it out. The products you need to sell as per on the the retail changes, the objective of the growth of the country changes, and the projection comes up. So why do you think the telecom, the internet is becoming so popular? Look at the growth of the Netflix in the last half a decade in India. Even I mean, just a quick element, I mean, I'm giving an example of recently in Amazon. Just a second, I'll just get you. Ella, which one is the prime show which has come recently? Mirzapur, right? Now, Mirzapur series, if you will see, they know that it is for the masses, and they analyzed it and they got it. And imagine another analysis which was going on, Lakshmi Bomb is coming, and they analyzed, and it is getting it's going to come in Hotstar, where they analyze it, because they have captured, and they know that in India it is really now we have gone into a different level and started respecting them in our day-to-day profession. I have seen so many unique working on the stores, they are working in a retail, they have now joined the politics. The trajectory is changing, so people have started predicting at a different level altogether, right? So this is how the rules starts coming in the prediction. So in the next session, we will be going very deep dive and understand the analytics part, but you will find that analytics domains in retail, talent, collections, telecom, supply chain, fraud, marketing, financial, risk and credit, consumer behavior, pricing, web analytics, and it's not new. Okay, so what we will do in this, these are the tools and the matrix that we use. It is just to give you a snippet here. We use rate, we use ratio, we use composition, we use index numbers, we use volume, cost, time, quality, satisfaction. So these are the very common matrix that we use in our tools. And I think you need to start investing your time to understand how you can finally take up your learnings of the data scientist and the analytics accordingly. Okay. All right. So the before we are closing the day. I think I will not stop by this, but would love to share the common mistake which we all need to avoid, right? Keeping a metric live even when it has no clear business reason for being. So guys, please don't do that. Don't make your metrics live. Just close it at there and then. The second one is you rely on just a few metrics. I think it's very important to evaluate the various kind of different performance so that you can check up the system. Insist on the 100% accuracy of the data, because if your data is not accurate, you'll never get a correct decision and it can have a wrong impact, right? Assessing employees only on a simple measure such as grade test score, please don't do that. If you're looking onto the prediction, you need to figure it out what exactly we're looking at, what kind of people we want to project at, and how we can actually use their potential for the growth of the organization. And using analytics to hire lower level of people and not, but not when assessing senior management. This is big no even if you want to hire a senior management, because it's a big cost to an organization, and I have seen people are not doing that. So please use analytics, figure it out, who's contributing to the most, who can be giving the maximum benefit, and so on, and HR efficiency metrics, while failing to address the impact of talent management of the business performance, we don't manage the talent, manage the talent. There are leaders, trust me, big organizations like Google, Pepsi, Honeywell, ICICI, HSBC, bigger chunks, they really have a great talent management scope, and they're really having a lot of great impact on the business performance. So even if you start contributing to it, trust me, should work on that. Okay, so with that note, thank you so much. The floor is query and a question. Oh, thank you so much. Great, thank you for appreciating. I think it's nice to see a wonderful feedback. Okay, so yes, my dear Deepak, if you have a question, you can ask me. You talked about the training on functional, behavioral, and domain areas. Is it to be arranged in order that can be jumbled up with a sequence of suite to our training needs? Yeah, I mean, actually, see, end needs to that you matter expert in your particular domain, but till time you're work on your soft skills and ensure aligned that way. So that's very important, very, very important. So my suggestion is that, right?
Anupa, I have a small thing, if I may allow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, you are welcome. Please feel free
Thank
to
you.
ask
First of all, thank you so much
me.
for a wonderful session. I have three questions, or not questions, but then points to discuss. Why, in India, we always have things like, when we talk about analytics, R, Python, these tools are so hyped now. Even in my organization, we are training adults on who want to learn about analytics, be it business analytics, be it data analytics. So why in India, things comes after 30 years, 40 years. Now, I was listening to you when they got invented in 1980s. Today in 2020, we are discussing these things, and these are so important things now.
Actually, if you'll ask me personally, India need a people like us. So we should adapt fast. We understand very late. That's the major problem, I can say that. So if this would have adapted pretty early, I think we would have gone places. It has a cost. Probably that could be one of the reason we adapt it late, or sometimes we get aware about these things very late. Uh, so my suggestion is start getting a lot of new insight, new information about what is going on in the market. Keep doing a research. I always say that whenever you want to know a new thing or what is going on in a particular sector, domain, subject, open the Google, write Google Analytics, or Google Scholar, sorry. The moment you write Google Scholar, a new screen will appear. And let's say you want to know anything about tools in analytics. Find information. Please
Voice
keep
is
doing a lot of
lagging.
research. That's what I'm saying. To know what is happening, get to know the best practices. That is the only thing I have. Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Second is, since this is the practical concept we all are discussing, and considering the duration is something that we need to align ourselves with the subject and with you. So is it possible, just a suggestion, I don't know how you take it, is it possible that at every end of the session you can give us some topics that we could come prepared beforehand in terms of reading and everything, so that it will be easy for us to align that with the concept that we'll be discussing with you, because these all are certain
Absolutely.
new
No
concepts.
problem. Yeah. No, I can do that. Absolutely good with that. So what we can do is, I will send it to ISTD,
Arun, yeah.
and then ISTD will share that with you. That shall be great.
Mhm.
Or else maybe you can all form a group and you can add me. You already know my email ID. It's anubhavali@gmail.com. So I'm just putting it down for all of you. And my number is also there. Right. So maybe you all can have, a common pool, and then also we can do that, So I'll send it to anyhow ISTD, and I will anyhow have, so I always start with what we did in past, that is in the first session. In the next class, in the third session, I'm going to discuss what we did in the first session, what we did in second session, and now what we'll do in third session. So that will be there. So I don't know whether you got the all the pointers in the starting of your course. If you haven't got it, so I'll maybe in the next session, I'll make it, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
I hope
So
that
that
shall
will
be
be
good.
easy, so that we can come prepared and
Yes, yes. No, any day. In fact, we will be doing, so all the case studies and all that we will be doing. So some of the case studies I'll send in advance so that you can read it. I'll send the link also, just read it. So I always do that, and we save the time, and we
absolutely.